Boom, there we go.
Okay.
Hi, my genuine gems. It's your girl, Genuinely Nesha, and I'm back with another video. Today, I have the lovely pleasure of having Dr. Z here. She is going to talk about weight loss tips and share some information about her business. So, I'm going to hand it over to you, Dr. Z, so you can introduce yourself a little bit more and
Okay.
talk about your business as well.
Sure, sure. So I'm Dr. Z, Dr. Zelda Okia. I am a life and weight loss coach. I'm also a forensic pathologist. So for those of you who don't know what that is, I'm a medical doctor and I do autopsies to find out why people die. And the reason I say I transitioned from death into life is because I wanted to help people not wind up on my autopsy table. Because obviously, by the time they ended up there, it was too late. So
Correct.
that's really why I decided to become a life coach and life and weight loss, because the coach that I had helped me to lose 30 pounds. And I've kept it off for, let's see, what year was that? 2018? How long?
Yeah, I think that's what you had told me before. Yep,
Like 4 years. So going on like 4 years now
that's
that
awesome.
I have kept the weight off. Yeah.
That is awesome. I want to thank you so much for doing this because, as you know, I've had a transition or a lifestyle change with
Mm.
my weight, and I've had a lot of questions. And honestly, everybody's journey is going to be different. And
Right.
I think I would be doing a disservice by just talking about my situation.
Mhm.
And also, in all due respect, mine was due to medical reasons why I had a
Mhm.
whole lifestyle change. And I may eventually talk about that, but I wanted to ask you here today so that you can help other women that are trying to lose weight. And I don't know if you can see the comments. They are speaking and saying hello to you.
Oh,
So,
okay. I can't see the comments, so you'll have to let me know.
okay, right
Yeah.
now everybody's just speaking to you. I'm going to call out a few names right quick.
Okay.
So, hi, Tiffany, Patricia, Chamosh. I think that's how you say that, Chamosh. Um, so, those are the people that are speaking to you and me as well right now. So,
Okay.
just, yeah.
Hello.
So, would you like to tell them kind of maybe if they were actively thinking about like losing weight,
Yeah.
kind of, okay,
Sure. So, yeah, I was thin most of my life, and it wasn't until I got into my 30s and I got my first job. And before I was a forensic pathologist, I actually did hospital pathology. So I worked in the hospital. And so I was sitting down a lot and looking in a microscope. So about my mid 30s is when I really started to notice the weight gain. Prior to that, I was still kind of running, but then I had my own medical issues. I developed a herniated disc, and I think that was from sitting all of the time. And I really started gaining weight. And I noticed that I was really struggling to get the weight off. Prior to that, in college, I may gain a couple pounds. I could usually go swimming or do something, and it would just fall off.
it wouldn't stick, right?
Right.
Those were the days.
Uh-huh. But in my 30s and then into my 40s, I really noticed I was gaining weight, and a lot of people couldn't tell. I mean,
Well, you
I'm
look,
tall.
you
I'm
look
about,
great.
yeah, I'm
You look
like
great
six,
now.
thank you. I'm 6 foot and a half, one. So a lot of people couldn't tell, and they thought I looked right. I looked great, right? But I
Right.
got the new job as a forensic pathologist, and they would have this group that would come in and do all of our health screens for us. So I would get my results every year, and I could see my blood pressure was going up and my blood sugar. They'd always do a fasting blood sugar, and the blood sugar was going up, and diabetes does run in my family. So even though I was never to the threshold of being diabetic or being hypertensive, my numbers were going up. So that's what I always tell people. Even though you can't necessarily tell on the outside as a forensic pathologist, you may look at this at a body and be like, why is this person dead? Especially with drugs, drugs and
Right.
alcohol, chemicals, because the
And
body still looks okay, but the changes are going on the inside. And
And you
that's what
can't
we
see
don't
them to the naked eye, right?
exactly.
And it's one thing, or I guess a couple of things I want to kind of touch on when you mentioned like the diabetes and the
Mhm.
hypertension. So
Yeah.
those things can be hereditary, right?
Yeah, yeah, there
Okay,
can be, obviously, for sure.
I just want to kind of be clear to them because a lot, you know, it's a lot of myths and things like that. And
Yeah,
while I have the pleasure of having a doctor here, I would like you to, you know, kind of touch on that. And also, it's a little more prevalent in the African American community
right, right.
for certain
Yeah.
things and certain risk factors too that make it more prevalent. You know.
And also diet. I mean, especially with sodium, some of us, again, genetically predisposed to be very sensitive to salt in our diet. So some people can have high blood pressure just from being very sensitive to the foods that they're eating. But I've noticed, like, I was talking to a couple people that were doing the keto diet, but they were
Mhm.
eating a lot of sausage and ham and very
Preserved
strong
salts.
meat.
Hmm.
And even if you buy chicken, like that frozen chicken in the grocery store, they inject salt in it. So
To
you
preserve it. Yeah.
yeah, so you have to be careful with the foods. And then all obviously eating out. I mean, every time I eat
Hmm.
out at a restaurant, I weigh myself because that's one thing I do. I weigh myself every day.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yes.
That would drive me crazy. Like just personally, um, I don't know. I've I've had, I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't want to make this like personally about me, but
Mhm.
um I had went through a whole stage in like my high school years,
Mhm.
because I've always been like what people call like curvy or thick, so I've always had like the breast and the butt and like the
Mhm.
thighs, like been
Yeah.
very shapely.
Yeah.
And I went to a private school, right, like all my life, right? So I was predominantly around Caucasian, which a lot of
Mm.
them were thinner. And
Yeah.
then I was on the swim team, right? So I'm like, ooh, I felt kind of bad having curves. And
Yeah.
so, like, being the only one that really looked like me,
Yeah.
I went through a whole phase where I became a vegan. And
Mm.
then I, like, lost all this weight super fast. And my mom got worried. And my mom was a nurse when she was living. And I actually had, like, I hate like saying like these diagnoses or whatever, but it's like they were looking at me for having like anorexia kind of thing
Oh,
going on, just because I didn't really know anything about being a vegan, and I was pretty much not starving myself, but I
yeah.
wasn't eating enough.
Yeah.
Somebody, hold on, I want to see what this is. It says, hold on, I think I can put this on the screen so you can see it. Hang on, I don't
And
want to.
some, I want to say some vegans do run into deficiencies, protein deficiencies, vitamin and mineral deficiencies. So
I
it's
was
so
guilty.
important if someone is a vegan to make sure that they are getting the proper nutrients that their bodies require.
Right. And because I just like abruptly did that,
Mhm.
in an effort to, because, at that age range, you're so concerned about fitting in.
Right.
And
Right.
being a teenager, that's all I was really worried about. I
Yeah.
didn't even consult my mom. I just literally told her I made the decision and I was doing it kind of thing. Because I had friends at school, right, that were vegans, right? So I
Yeah.
thought I had enough information and I'm like, this is what I'm doing. And I did. I lost, like, I got, much smaller. The curves didn't go nowhere. They still didn't go nowhere even now.
Right.
But, like then, being a kid, how, it is. I don't want to ignore the audience. So I'm going to just
Okay.
try to put, can you see it now?
Oh, okay. I don't have my glasses. Okay.
No,
Nisha.
you're good. I'm going to still read it out loud. So I just wanted to make sure you could see it.
Oh, okay.
Patricia says, "Oh, Anisha, thank you for asking the doctor to talk to us. I love
Oh,
you, beautiful. Thank you.
you're very welcome. Very welcome.
I am so blessed and honored to have her here. I'm so grateful, you guys. You just don't know." And
Thank you. I'm
then
glad to be here.
Tiffany's, oh, thank you. And Tiffany says, Nisha, I'm currently losing weight. I went from 225 pounds to now I'm weighing 199.
That's
Yes.
awesome. Keep going. Keep going. That is amazing.
Tiffany, do you have any questions for the doctor specifically to you? Or we're also going to, I'll go back in the description and I'll put her website link,
Okay.
but she does the coaching. So if you guys want to take a hold of that, and I believe you had like a free offer of something on there as well.
Yeah. There's a
So
couple of freebies on there.
yeah, so I'm gonna definitely go back and I'll add your website, but you
Okay.
guys link up with her. She's gonna be your go-to person to get you on the right path or keep you there, right?
Mhm.
Because as she just said from her mouth, that there's things that go on the inside we
Yeah.
can't always see, and
Right.
so you want to get a hold of it.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Tiana.
Nesha
She's
and
just
Dr.
speaking to us. Yes, guys, thumbs up the live, please. Let's see.
Oh, thumbs up. Oh.
Yeah, because they can press like a thumbs up or a thumbs down to
Oh,
like
okay.
get the video kind of like pushed out to even more viewers.
Okay.
Sherilyn says it's nice to lose weight, but some people just need to keep the weight on them. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I say to each their own. Like I
You get
said,
to decide. Yeah.
right, because it's your body, your choice. And for me, it was more of a medical and like a health thing, because
Mhm.
I think that everybody at a certain point in time in their life, either for whatever reasons, they just want to be more healthy. And
Yes.
so,
Yeah. And for me too, I do tend to go low carb just
mhm,
because
me
for me,
too.
again, my body was sensitive to it. I was eating cereal before I lost the weight. I was eating cereal in the morning. I would be hungry 2 hours later. Then I would
Oh,
take a
God.
mid-morning snack. Then I'd be hungry 2 hours later. So I was always hungry and always thinking about food. So I
Yep.
didn't want to be on that hamster wheel, you know.
Oh, my
So for
God.
me,
I know.
that worked with my lifestyle to be I do intermittent fasting now, so I typically don't eat breakfast and then I'll have 2 meals a day, and that works for me. That doesn't work for everybody.
Correct.
But
Correct.
like you said in one of your videos, you said meals, not snacks. So
Yes.
definitely that is my thing. Meals,
And
not snacks.
And
Yeah.
see, me coming from nursing, as I'm sure you can appreciate
Yeah.
being a physician,
Right.
being in nursing, it's very demanding.
Hmm.
And I was doing 12 and 16-hour shifts,
Yeah.
baby, because the hospital was always short.
Hmm.
And I had a tendency because I was already taking care of family members, right?
Hmm.
And then I'm at work taking care of everybody else. It was like, who's going to take care of me or who's going to look out for me? So it was like eating on the fly. We would
Right.
order stuff. And, I'm doing this with coworkers. We didn't have a lot of time to sit and think about, is this pizza or this McDonald's going to be healthy kind of thing?
Right.
We was just trying to get something to eat so we can get back to the patients.
Exactly.
So, that was something that in retrospect, looking back on, I'm like, boy, I wish I would have had the time and the chance
Yeah.
to kind of like but um, I was actually at work one day doing a 16-hour. That was my third one,
Hmm.
and I was getting ready to check a blood sugar, and honey, I'm in the med room, and I dang near fainted. I dang near just
Oh.
flatlined. I felt like a big like flash come over me, and I felt like lightheaded, and I had to grab the med cart, like whoa. And
Mm.
then another nurse looks at me. She's like, "Did you eat?" And I'm like, I don't. I couldn't like. I literally couldn't remember. My mind was like, it was like blank.
Yeah.
So instead of going to the patient right away, I ended up taking my blood sugar.
Wow.
Now I had never poked myself before, right? And I'm doing everybody else's all day long. That's easy. But poking yourself, it was like I was so scared, but I had to do it. And I'm
Mhm.
like, no, I don't have to get anybody else to do it. I got it. And she's just standing there. I check it, and it was super low.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm like, okay. And like I believe the next year is when I ended up taking metformin. Now
Oh.
I've never had diabetes. Both of my parents, my mom did, and she's deceased, and my dad does. But I do have polycystic ovarian syndrome, and I didn't find out. So I knew that I had it, but I did not find out the form of it until years
Oh,
later.
okay.
So I ended up finding out I have the insulin resistance form of it,
Okay.
and I ended up then taking the metformin as a way to regulate the insulin
Okay.
resistance of the PCOS.
Okay.
I hated that medicine. It was horrible in my system, and I thank the Lord. I have been off of it for
Okay.
almost a couple years now.
Okay, good for you. Good for you. I was on metformin for about a year. Um, and I didn't have any symptoms. I didn't have any side effects, but I know there are quite a few side effects, GI side effects, and then
That's the ones I
worst
had the
case,
most of.
acidosis. So there are side effects to it, but for a lot of people, I mean, a lot of people have been on it for years and they don't have symptoms on it. So it
And I
depends.
was on the lowest dose.
Yeah.
I never really went on a higher dose. I was always on the 500, and
Mm-hmm.
it just did not really work well with my system. I kept an upset stomach and like
Yeah.
diarrhea, and then like very dry, like when I already had eczema, but it would like dry out certain areas like my feet. So I had to
Okay.
stay getting like pedicure, like even more frequently than I was regularly getting them, and
Okay.
also like treating it at home where I would like soak my feet to get the skin moist and then moisturize and leave socks on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it was like really excessive, like
Yeah.
dry. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to have no hard feet. Like, no. Hi, T. I didn't want to. Let me see. I got to go back. I'm trying to see where the comments are. They kind of went up. Okay. So let
Okay.
me go. Okay. She said, yes, I would love to talk to her. Okay.
Okay.
Would you be comfortable putting your question in the chat, Tiffany? And then Patricia says, I have fibrosis cancer. I'm sorry about that, honey. Um, if I get the surgery, do you think that will take the weight off my stomach? Mine is big.
Huh.
I'm not really sure about that part, but
Yeah.
so she's
Abdominal fibrosis, maybe? Is that what she means?
yes,
So
maybe
the tumor could be giving her the appearance of a
like a bulge.
protruding stomach. Yeah. So that might make her stomach look thinner, flatter.
Right, but I think wouldn't you think that she would maybe because she's saying something about so I just want to clarify, Patricia, do you mean the surgery to get the fibroids removed, or did you mean like a different surgery, just so the doctor could know exactly like how to answer your question? Because um, you know I want to make sure that we're understanding that you want like the fibroid removed or what exactly.
Yeah, because fibrosis cancer is not really a diagnosis. So
Right.
yeah, I'm not sure if she means fibroid, but then she said fibroid is typically not cancerous. So
Right. So that's where my confusion is coming to. So that's why I'm like, can she tell us a little more? Tiffany says, Nisha, I drink smoothies with vegetables in. Uh, I think she means in vegetables. Okay, and ginger, and that's what's helping me keep the weight off. Okay.
okay. Okay, that could be. A lot of times people get into trouble with smoothies because they add a lot of fruit. And so fruit has,
Sugar.
carbs and sugar, and then they may add milk and if you think about a smoothie, it's like with flour, it can get very concentrated. So vegetables, typically you can eat as many vegetables as you want, and they don't really gain weight from that. But if you're putting a lot of fruit in there with a lot of sugar, you got to watch your blood sugar, especially for diabetics, and so that's when you want to be careful with smoothies. So that's why I tend to avoid smoothies because you really have to know what's in them and make it
Yes. And if you're buying any of the product that is pre-mixed as well, then you get into a whole nother thing because you have whatever preservatives and things that
yeah,
are in there. And then if you're adding things, so
yeah,
you got to really be careful with that, Tiffany.
definitely.
Um, okay, wait, I think okay, she says, oh, she was correcting, I think, her previous comment. It says, Nisha, I drink smoothie with vegetables, fresh ginger, and that's
Okay.
what's helping me keep the weight off. And I drink it every day. And when I eat food, it's small portions. Okay.
Okay, okay. So she might skip breakfast too, or maybe that's her breakfast, and then maybe only eat a meal at lunch, or maybe one at dinner. So
Right.
I
Oh,
could do that too.
and Tiffany, one question I guess I would have to pose to you because during my lifestyle change, I learned how important the protein aspect was. Are you putting any type of a protein supplement in that as well? Or, um, how does that go as far as because you want to make sure you're getting enough protein? Because as I told you how I did in high school, you don't want to do that. Make sure you get enough protein and make sure that you're drinking enough water.
Yeah.
What would you? Because I know that I've said just like kind of in my own experience,
Hmm.
I had shared that um, to drink like half of your body weight in
Yeah.
ounces would be what I felt was a suitable amount of water. Because before it was that thing going around about 8 cups of water. What would you say as far as the water aspect?
I like that. I like what you said, and I think
Okay.
the more the better. So 8 ounces, that's like 64 ounces a day, but I've seen even up to 100. And it's easy now that we have these big thermos. I drink like two of those large, maybe 20 ounces, two of those in the morning, and then throughout the day. So just being mindful of it. Sometimes I tell clients, set a timer to remind
Mm-hmm.
yourself to drink, because it's so easy to forget. And then too,
Today.
sometimes we're actually thirsty and we think we're hungry. So that's
Yep.
the other thing. And then we tend to eat when really our body needs fluids. So,
Yes, and for me, so I weigh like 150 now. So I'm
mhm.
doing about 75 ounces of water, and the
Yeah.
easiest way for me to do it is like you said in the morning. Like so, when I brush my teeth, I have like this, like a regular size. This is like 16.9
Yeah.
ounces.
Yeah.
But then I move over to like a liter. And I think it
Hmm.
was like
Hmm.
33 point something. So I
Yeah.
make sure that I'm drinking that or sipping that throughout the day because
Yeah.
honestly, some days I just do not really, you want something else. And so I do
Hmm.
keep like the something similar to Crystal Light, like
Oh, okay.
or
Okay.
I'll put some like squeeze a fresh lemon or lime or
Yeah.
both,
Yeah.
just to give it like a little,
Right.
like to give me a little flavor to make me
Yeah.
want it.
And tea, like the herbal teas, and sometimes I
Mhm.
will have that in the evening, when that's when I tend to wanna eat, or munchies after dinner.
I know.
So,
I get
I
the late
have to
night.
be mindful. Yep,
And
yep.
then like being in school now and online, so I'm here in my office at my desk.
Okay.
Girlfriend, I be wanting a little chips, but I also learned to not deprive myself because then I
Yeah.
find myself wanting it even more. So
Right.
I just ration it. So I'll
Mhm.
buy like the big value bag of like the Gardettos because I love those. But
Okay.
I'll look on the back because I believe in another thing I learned during my journey or my lifestyle change is that it's very important to read those nutrition labels, learn how to
Absolutely.
break them down and how to understand them so you can
Yeah.
know what you're actually consuming, right? So
Absolutely.
I look and I see, okay, the serving size is 22, pieces. Honey, I'm 22 and in one zip bag and I'm doing that. So I do it like once I buy them, and then so when I go to grab, if I'm in a rush or anything and I can't
Mhm.
sit and count, I can just grab it and go, and I'm good. I'm only eating a portion.
And one of the
Um,
things I noticed, because I do weigh myself every day, so I say I look for trends. Like they say, that
mhm,
the trend is your friend.
mhm.
So I noticed it was going up, and for me, it was peanuts. It was, well, not even the peanuts, because I don't. Oh, I love peanuts, but I can't always eat them. But it was
Okay.
almonds. Almonds or even cashews. I had to start counting them because it was so
They
easy to
get
grab
good.
a
They
couple here.
get good.
Even the organic ones, I
Hmm.
still had to count them because they do have calories, and
Yep.
they can add weight if you just eat them and mindlessly.
And see, for me, yeah, because you're not thinking when you just reach it and grab it. And
Right.
for me, I love those. those seasoned pistachios. They come with like
Oh,
the
yeah.
salt and
Mm-hmm.
pepper. So, honey, you definitely have to watch it because it's some
Yes.
salt, and I know that,
Uh-huh.
And Patricia says, my stomach is big. So, is it, I'm just trying to understand. So, is it a fibroid or something that is making it that way, Patricia? And that's what you're talking about having removed? Or are you talking about having like a, what would they do like
Well,
a,
there is a tumor of the tissue, like the soft tissue. So the stomach is the organ, but if
right?
she's talking about a tumor in like the muscles or what we call fascia, that's
Mhm.
fibromatosis is the fascia, that can grow into a mass. And so
Right.
maybe that's what she's describing.
Right. And as Dr. Z stated, if that is what you're talking about, if you have that removed, it can take away that protrusion, right, that's in
Yeah.
your stomach. And then once you do that and go through your healing process, you can kind of see where you're at and
Yeah.
if there's additional skin that needs to be addressed, or if you just need to do like some strengthening and tightening, because I'm imagining that you'd have to do some strengthening and stuff once that was removed because you may have some restrictions right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So it's hard to say. We can't see you, so and we're not giving medical advice. Yes, let's put
right,
that disclaimer on there.
correct.
This is
We're
for
just
informational purposes only.
correct for you to have some education behind certain
Yeah,
things, and then make the best decision that's right for you.
yeah,
And if you need to consult your regular physician, um, go to Dr. Z's website, consult her with some coaching things. You guys have to kind of make an educated decision as far as like how you
right.
need to go forward and what would be most helpful in your situation.
Absolutely.
I can't handle the truth. She's just speaking to us. Okay, she says yes. She is talking about getting removed. Yes,
Okay.
so that would be a great, thing, and then you'd have to kind of see along your healing process,
Yeah,
where you're at, and then kind of go from there.
right.
She said, "Yes, I need to know what can I do to get rid of the stomach fat."
Oh, okay. Yeah. That definitely in women, we tend to hang on to that little pouch there.
Mhm.
And so it's important not to beat yourself up about it. And aerobic exercises typically that help you to reduce all the fat. But I do want to say that don't use exercise for weight loss. Those are two completely different things.
Can you explain to them why?
Yeah, when I lost weight, I totally changed my diet. I did not exercise. I didn't start to exercise until I reached my goal
Me
weight
neither. Hmm.
because it was the food. And what happens when you start exercising, especially if you're like training for a marathon or trying to bulk up and lifting weights, you get hungry. And if you're not eating properly and you put hunger on top of it, you're going to overeat and you're going to eat the wrong things and gain the weight. You're going to gain weight. So that's why. And also, it helps you to focus because I was cutting out sugar and flour. And so that is a mindset shift. And I had to focus on that at the time until I lost the weight. Because if I was trying to focus on that, trying to exercise, that's when you get overwhelmed and then you just shut down, you stop everything. And that's why the coaching piece is so important because
Yep.
you're actually changing your identity pretty much sometimes.
Yes, and one thing about change, if y'all anything like me, change is difficult,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
you
Absolutely.
you have to get your mind. You have to be mentally ready before the body can ever follow. But
Yeah,
once you get your mind mentally ready, the body will follow.
yeah.
Um,
So removing total body fat will decrease the size of the stomach fat also. You might still have a little bit of a bulge, and then that will take some really focused toning and muscle
strengthening,
strengthening those muscles. Yeah, but don't
definitely
do it for weight loss. Do it for more for toning.
correct. And I think that was I'm glad you touched on that because it can be the misconceptions or
Yeah.
misinformation that people have, and then they kind of start to wonder or get discouraged because then they don't see the results they're kind of
Yeah.
expecting or hoping for, you know. So,
Absolutely. The first thing, so many people is, they're like, well, I gotta go to the gym. I want to lose weight. I'm gonna go to the gym. Oh, I want to lose weight, but I don't like to exercise. I'm like, you don't have to
you
exercise.
don't have to. No,
Change
you
your
know,
diet.
yep. You can lose weight and get to your goal weight all by changing your diet. Yep.
Absolutely. That's how people die of starvation.
Yeah.
So
And then
if
like
you
Dr.
don't
Z
eat,
said,
no.
you
Mhm.
get there and then you start the exercising and strengthening.
Right.
It's
Mhm.
very important to know that, you guys. It'll help you a lot along your lifestyle change. And I just want to be transparent as far as I do not diet. Um, I used to when I was younger.
Mhm.
Dieting has never helped me. It's
Mhm.
never helped me. It's all about making a more informed decision and making a lifestyle change because, as Dr. Z touched on, the diet will control and get your weight to where it needs to be or you want it to be. So that's what's been effective, having a lifestyle change and sticking to that versus dieting. It's
Yeah.
it's research out there that proves that dieting doesn't work.
Yeah.
So
I did want to say, just because I posted something on Facebook about we are really all on a diet, but just in the sense that we are mindful of what we eat, and we all have
mm,
a set point for the most part. Like we'll
right,
usually get up to a certain size and then that's where we stay. So to some degree we are mindful of what we eat, but it's, really being intentional about
right.
cutting things out. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's very important.
As a
Um,
lifestyle. I like you said that it's a lifestyle.
yes, because uh, previously I was ignorant to that as well, and not having that much knowledge in it, and not
Mhm.
doing my research, and not
Yeah.
necessarily understanding my body so much,
Mhm. Mhm.
So it was like people say diet, and then you diet, kind of thing,
Yeah.
and irregardless, my body was kind of like fluctuating within a couple pounds of where I was already at.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
as I got the knowledge and did my research and learned my body, I was better able to help myself and,
Yeah.
make it more a permanent thing. And,
Right.
I remember back to those days, even though it was years and years ago,
Mhm.
um, I remember being hungry during
Mm.
dieting, I
Okay.
remember being feeling like I was being deprived, right? Because when you diet, you usually are taking something away, right?
Yes.
So I'm like, oh my God, I wish I could have a cookie or this or that. I wanted it even more,
Mhm.
But within my lifestyle change now, I'm very happy to say I feel deprived of nothing because
Yeah.
whatever I want, I have it. But
Yeah.
I may have it on a much smaller scale or modified,
Right.
whatever, but I'm not taking it away from myself and
Right.
denying,
Mhm.
so I
Mhm.
don't feel those restrictions.
And that's exactly how I am too. Like I plan at least 24 hours in advance,
Hmm.
so if I do see something that I want and I'm not going to deprive myself, I just want to plan ahead using my prefrontal cortex, my higher brain, and not just giving into that urge to eat
Right,
something just because it looks good. And I hadn't even thought about eating that, beforehand.
right, right. So Patricia says, I have tumors in my stomach. Yes, they are cancerous. Okay, so she
Mhm.
was, giving us a little more information, I think.
Okay. Okay.
So I think you pretty much answered that, and that's what you were thinking, though, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, if she's having surgery, I mean, that's obviously one way to remove excess tissue. So,
mhm. Okay. Can't handle the truth says, I drink a protein shake every morning. Well, that's very good. I had weight loss surgery and have to have my protein. Yeah,
oh, okay.
I think either way it would go. Can't handle the truth. We need our protein, baby.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah,
I do.
definitely.
I have a protein drink too, a protein powder I put in my coffee in the morning. So
Right. And just, I don't know if you're paying attention to it or not. Can't handle the truth. Be mindful of which protein shakes you're buying. Make sure you're watching the sugar,
mhm.
and make sure you know the amount of protein in each one as well, because um, most women are good at about 60 grams of protein per day.
Yeah.
Tiffany says, "Oh, she's answering my question about the smoothies when I said, do you put protein in it?" And she says, "Yes, I put protein it and drink lots of water." Okay, very
Okay.
good, Tiffany. Hey, Senna. And she said, "And I drink lemon water." Okay, yep,
Oh,
I do too. I like when I get the time to like make a big picture of like infused water. I like to put
mm,
like the cucumbers and all that in there, and it's
okay.
so good,
Yeah.
especially on like a really hot day when I'm feeling famished. Take me a little
Mm.
sip of that. I'm like, ooh, I almost feel like it's something I ain't supposed to be drinking.
Absolutely.
Oh, Patricia says, okay, thank you, and Dr. Z. No
Oh, you're
problem, dear.
welcome.
And Tiffany says the same thing. You're welcome, dear.
You're welcome.
Um, does anybody else have any other questions? I'm going to make sure I put her link, you guys, because as she stated, she does do weight loss coaching.
Okay.
Um, and she has a few freebies on her website as well. So y'all be sure to check it out. Um, Actually, what I'm going to do just to make sure before we get off of here, if anybody has any other questions so they can type them, if you just say your website, I'm going to type it and then I'll actually pin it in here and then I'll still put it in the description box.
Okay. So it's just my name, www.zelda, ZELDA, Okia, OKIA.com.
A, is that right? For So it's www.zelda,
Okia.
OKIA.com.
.com. No
Very simple,
spaces. Very simple.
straight to the point. Okay, hold on. I'm going to add I'm going to make sure I have it right because I want to add the HTTP so it can be like a hyperactive link so they can just click it and go right there.
Oh, okay. Sure.
// Okay, there we go. Now I can pin this. There we go. So you guys, I have pinned her website so you guys can click that. And I'm also going to go back and add that, I can't talk, description box as well. And if you guys don't have any more questions, or if Dr. Z does have anything else to say, um, do you have anything else you'd like to say, Dr. Z, or anybody
Yeah.
else?
I would just encourage them to weigh themselves every day. It's just a number on the scale, but it's information, more information about your body. It doesn't mean anything about you as a person. And just help people to love their bodies. I can't imagine all the number of women who say that they hate their body or they dislike their body. And to come and then work on their body from a place of hatred, the results just are not sustainable. So that's where the coaching also comes in, really allowing us to learn how to love our bodies and to appreciate our bodies, because our bodies do amazing things.
They're responsible for everything within us,
Yeah.
and I definitely can understand and respect what you're saying as far as doing it for reasons, and see why it wouldn't be successful, because you're not doing it for the correct reason. So
Yeah.
your why and your mindset, is not
Mhm.
there. But like I said, if you get your mind there and,
Yeah.
maybe do some coaching, or whatever it is that you feel can help you, the body will follow,
Yes. Yes.
it'll
Absolutely.
definitely follow.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't think I didn't see any more questions.
Okay.
So, um, you guys, I thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And if you guys rewatch this, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you do have any questions for Dr. Z and you put it under the video, I will do my best to get it answered and come back to you guys. Otherwise, I have her website pinned at the top of this chat, and it'll
Okay.
also be in the description box. Thank you guys so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you.
You guys have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Z.
You're very welcome. You take care and you have a great weekend.
Thank you, too.
Thank you.